Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies Sunday morning coffee hour. I just love doing these coffee hour live streams when I can't do like a Saturday night live stream. So I'm so glad for anybody who could join us. I know that Carrie is here. Let's see. Excuse me. I just took a sip of my coffee and it went down the wrong pipe. But let's see. So sorry. Carrie is going to help moderate. She's going to say hello to everybody. Hello, Sybil. Sybil always helps with that as well. So thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate that. And thank you for helping out, you guys. Let's see. So welcome. Everybody get comfortable. I'm totally comfortable. I got yoga pants on. I got a t-shirt on that says I myself am strange and unusual. That's what the shirt says. Hi, Christy. Welcome. So glad you could join us. Hi, Bruce. Good morning, Joy. Erin. Oh, I'm seeing very many people who know about this little survey that we're going to talk about today. So that is really, really exciting to me. So again, I've posted your excuse me, there's that coffee down the wrong pipe again. Sorry. I posted your comments online, so please be nice, and thank you, Joy. So yeah, make sure that you get yourself comfortable. I do want to remind everybody that this is an 18 and over space. Sometimes I like to say I'm a little disturbed that we're not more disturbed by the disturbing things we talk about. However, today is a little bit of a different conversation, not so much about like a haunting or a true crime or anything like that. And stick around and you're going to hear what it's about. I think it's really, really cool. Hi, good morning, Dan. And thank you, everybody who is watching. Like I said, Carrie is going to help interact and say hello with everybody. I had to move my keyboard so I have room for my microphone. I've been having audio issues. I have a new microphone on the way, so I hope I sound all right to everybody. Thank you. I appreciate that you're here. Thank you for watching on Facebook and YouTube. Please like, follow, subscribe, share, and thank you if you're watching later. I know that Paul and Cheryl Fiella are going to be watching later, and they were so helpful with this survey. They really, really sent in a lot of good information. But as you all did, no, I didn't get one survey back where I went, oh, this survey sucks. No way. Everybody delivered. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. So again, thank you everybody for watching. Remind you that we are an 18 and over space. I make no judgments about what is in your coffee cup. Myself, I have regular coffee with cream and sugar. Let me know what's in your coffee cup. Again, this is a no judgment zone. Also, want to remind folks that this is a 420 friendly space, so smoke them if you got them. I know I sure did. A little Sunday morning wake and bake never hurt anybody if you're not driving. So, anyways, again, 18 and over space. And also, I like to swear, so I'm not going to apologize for that. Usually, I say if my Aunt Kathy tunes in, I will watch my language. But my family, the Syllaberts, are at a shower today that I couldn't attend because I'm here, and I'm going to see them in a couple weeks, anyways. But they're all getting ready to go to a shower, so I know that Aunt Kathy won't be tuning in. So I just might say, share, or drop the F-bomb or something. So I'm just warning you. So again, this is an adult space. So anyways, you guys, I made up this questionnaire of, let's see, it's got 11 questions, okay, and that most of them have more than one answer or have the ability to have more than one answer. Some people answered with one answer, some people answered with 3 or more. But this is the questionnaire. Take a peek at it. But I'll tell you what the questions are as we talk about it. So I sent, let's say, now let me get my notes out. This is I have a few notes here, but you have no idea. So I sent that one page. I sent this out, and this is what I got back. This whole file folder worth of information. This is, I printed out all of you guys' answers. So from this begat that, and then I took all the answers that you guys gave me and I put it in this kind of this little handmade spreadsheet. So with your names and your answers, and then from there, I kind of broke some of it down by numbers. So I think that you'll find this very, very exciting. And and there's also what's really cool is that of the people, I'm going to say everybody's name in a minute who participated. You all know each other or know somebody who knew each other. So that's really cool. Also, if you didn't have a chance to respond, and a couple people didn't because people are busy, and I sent this out Wednesday night, so there was a lot of pressure on people if you were going to get it done. I needed it back by Friday because I had to work on it Saturday to present today. But feel free to drop your answers in the comments and let's talk about some of your answers there and let's talk about it. There's some very thought-provoking answers here to a lot of these questions, and I just can't wait to talk about it. Um, to talk about these things. You guys really, really responded well. Um, so anyways, so yeah, so that's kind of how I ended up with this information. So that questionnaire to that file folder, which then got put on this spreadsheet, which is many, many, many pages of answers, and then from there I kind of tallied stuff up. So again, 11 questions, and many of them have more than one answer. So I sent out one of these to 33 people. I expected maybe 5 back because it really was very short notice. Wednesday, I was hoping to get them back Friday. I told some people, oh, Saturday morning's okay, knowing that that would really kind of, make it a little tight for me. But anyway, so again, I only expected a handful back. Well, I sent out 33 and I got 23 back, and I know some people had called me and apologized that they were busy and couldn't send it, and I really appreciate that. So again, I told other people, drop your answers here. Let's talk about them, and see how they compare with other people, and see how they compare with people that you know. Some answers I was not surprised about at all, and other answers I found to be very surprising. And some answers were the same across the board. It was very, very interesting. So let's see. Let's do this. Oh, and Laurie, our West Coaster, is here. Laurie, I'm really glad that you joined us. I just want to ask my Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies community to just take a moment and keep our West Coast friend Laurie in your thoughts. From what I can see, Laurie's area is battling some, is that wildfires, Laurie? So please keep Laurie and her friends and family in your thoughts and prayers. And hope that things turn out well and that everybody is safe and sound. So, Laurie, I really appreciate you as a viewer. She's my West Coaster. My furthest away in the United States. So again, gals, ghosts, and ladies, family, please keep Laurie in your thoughts that her and her friends are going to be safe and sound. So again, all right, so here we go, rolling into our show. So again, I sent out 33 surveys, expected 5 or so back. I got 23 back. More than half of the 23 answered all the questions. Most answered all questions. Some answered some answered one or two. And I listen, anybody that gave this any thought, I really appreciate that you took the time out of your busy schedule. We're all very busy, so thank you. I really appreciate that. Appreciate all of you as viewers and as friends. So many of you I know personally. So I just want to say that. Thank you. Thank you all for your friendship, for your fellowship. So anyways, my response rate was 77%, which is astounding. Ask anybody who puts surveys out. Getting a 77% response rate is really almost supernatural in and of itself. So thank you again. That's just a huge survey response. Again, so grateful for your time. So this is kind of paranormal investigating, kind of sort of by the numbers. So I ended up with 18 women and 5 men replied. I actually didn't break it down and see how many men and women I sent it to. There are a handful of people who didn't get around to it, and hey, it's all good. So anyways, 18 women and 5 men replied. So I'm going to start with the very first question, which is question A, which is, what is your favorite location? Up to 3 favorite locations and why? And some people put 4 or 5 favorite locations. Let's do more surveys. I love that, Bruce. Trisha never typed hers out. I hear you, Trisha. That's all right. You can talk about it here. Anyways, So your favorite location, like I said up to 3 and the reasons why, and some people put 1 and some people put 4 and 5 and whoops, for lots of reasons. I just hit the table over here when we talk about equipment. I have examples. So we'll get to that shortly. So anyways, favorite location and kind of by the numbers. Um winningly with 11 votes, and you could vote for more than one place, so keep in mind this isn't like one vote for place. Some people voted for a few of these places because you could vote for 3. So but the Peter Oliver House. So let's get a hell yeah for the Peter Oliver House. That we had 11 people voted that. So yeah, Christy's got Oliver, Emery, and I don't know how to say that last one. Carrie, help me respond there to Christy. Thank you. Um, but Oliver House, and then Emery Estate came in with 9 votes. So that came in second. And then third, third place came in, two are tied for 3, and that is SK Pierce and cemeteries slash graveyard. One person named a graveyard or cemetery by name, and a couple people referenced them generally. So again, Oliver House, Emery Estate, and then SK Pierce, and then 2 tied at 2. Hearts of Hall had 2 votes, and I love Hearts of Hall, and I look forward to getting back there more. We were there with a really small group last time. Sue and Nathan and Tina and Kerry, and it was just a great small group. Loved it. Can't wait to get back there again. But also 2 votes for the Omni Parker House Princess Room. That was Katie Stacy, who, boy, does she have some great experiences. And also Elaine voted for that one as well, who Elaine, by the way, happens to be in Scotland right now. So Elaine is our farthest away respondent to our survey right now. I texted this to her and she's like, I don't know, Jennifer, I'm in Scotland right now. I'm like, Elaine, don't even bother. Have fun. Can't wait to hear all about your adventures. And sure enough, I got it back because that's just who Elaine is, you know. Um, so, anyways, thought that was interesting. So Elaine and Katie both voted for that. Hearts of Paul. Oh, let me back up a little. I said I was going to say everybody's name. I jumped right in. Let me say everybody's name who participated. Sorry about that, guys. I got ahead of myself. That's how excited I am about this place. And Christy is asking Kerry's asking Christy about that third location she mentioned. So while Christy answers that, I'm going to read these names out who responded. Me, Jennifer from Gals, Ghosts, and Ladies, Jeff from Ghost Quest Solo, Tina, who I can't remember the name of your group, Tina, but Tina, you know who you are. Thank you. Cheryl and Paul Fiella, married couple. They each responded separately, and I really appreciated that. So give a little bit of different perspective, not the exact same experiences, and very much different likes and dislikes. Shannon from OPP, Other People's Paranormal. Dan from um, Dan the Man, Kelly, who I consider Kelly a gal for sure, Sonia Babineau, who her son is the Haunted Raven photographer, Elaine, like I said, Brenda and Tim and Kathy and Tanya from Paranormal Girls and Tim. Their team sent in answers, so we got answers from the middle of the country. That was pretty exciting. Brian Quinn. We know him from the Oliver House and from doing various investigations. Thank you so much, Brian, for your thoughtful answers. Alicia, we know who Alicia is from the Oliver House. Juniper Rose I know Juniper from, where do I know Juniper from? The Black Swan Inn in New Hampshire. Let's see. Katie Stacy, I know Katie and her cousin Johanna from around the campfire, as they say. Fun girls to investigate with, and they always attract a lot of activity. There's Bruce, technician extraordinaire. His answers were fantastic, and also Bruce was the second person to respond, the first guy to send it back. Thank you so much, Bruce. I appreciate that. And then Joy, you know what, Joy? Anything I do, Joy is always quick to participate. So thank you so much, Joy. I know Joy from through KNS at SK Pierce Mansion, and then we've got Sybil, who I just consider such a good friend, psychic medium Sybil Perry. Erin, who again been seeing Erin around the campfire, starting to investigate with Erin and having a lot of fun doing it. We know each other from Weymouth Historical Society, Emory Estate, Oliver House. I've been Weymouth Teen Center. I've investigated a lot with Anna. Caitlin Bauer, the K of K&S. Kerry, like I said, and yeah, so I think that's it. So that is who responded here. So those are the names of everybody. I'm sorry if I missed anybody. Okay, back to what I was saying. Sorry about that. I didn't want to miss anybody. So we were talking about the favorite locations, Oliver House, Emory Estate, and then two tied for three, SK Pierce Mansion and cemeteries / graveyards. Personally, I've never investigated in a cemetery or graveyard. I know there's some school of thought that say no, because there's not activity there, and then clearly there's a school of thought that believes that there is activity there. And some people love graveyards and cemeteries and are comfortable there, and also Hearts of Hall. And then a few other places that people said were some of their favorite places were, let's see, some of these places I know and some I don't. Regina Russell Tea Room, the USS Salem, that was a favorite of Jeff's, and I'm not surprised. The Conjuring House, Mrs. Swift's and Moore's Antique Shop, and I can't wait to get there. Hi, Kara. I just have to say, Kara just joined us. I got my nails done Friday by Kara. Right here. This is Kara who did my nails. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you joined. Um, Anyways, let's see other places that people that is their favorite location. Paul Deaver School. That wasn't from Sybil. I don't know where that is. Yorktown Hospital. I'm not sure what state that's in. Wilson Castle in Vermont. Russell Mills Cemetery. So there's one of those cemeteries we talked about. And amongst a few other places. And really, why there were similarities in why these were people's favorite places. And probably that topped the list was very active locations with paranormal activity, but also secondarily and certainly more, probably even more important, is historical. The historical preservation, I think, of what we do and what we like to do with paranormal investigations, it just can't be underestimated. The historical preservation, putting money into restoring buildings and their upkeep, and also getting the tales and the stories out there. So that's what I think. So that was a favorite location. So that was a really, I think everybody answered that one. So the next question. So like I said, I'm gonna adjust my chair. Sorry. There we go. So favorite technology, and I just so happen to have a table full of technology next to me. So you're gonna see me reach up, and then I'll pull it up and try to talk about it. So let's see. So favorite technology. Oh, let's see. We're talking about locations. Christy's talking about Ripavilla Plantation in Spring Hill, Tennessee. The paranormal road trip. Sign me up. I will drive a small RV if there's anybody interested in joining. I will. So, all right, next question. Question B. What's your favorite technology to use and why? And certainly as we go on, I ask about what's your favorite non-technology methods as well. So, what is your favorite technology? 13 overwhelmingly was the by almost double was digital camera. And for me, I took that to include cell phone cameras, digital photograph cameras, film cameras. Nobody said Polaroid, but Polaroid cameras, well, you would think, but it wasn't there. And video cameras. So cameras were number one. So that was everybody's favorite piece of technology. Now, I have a little handheld video camera here. Well, it's marked with, that's how you know it's one of mine, because it's marked. But I have a little handheld video camera, and yeah, Let's do it. Let's do it. I am ready, willing, and able. So I am ready. So Christy said her favorite is an audio recorder, and that's gonna come up shortly. Going to get to that one. That is definitely on the list. So a good video camera, or even not a real good one. This one's less than $100, less than a hundo. But it's got night vision, and for myself, I prefer that. So, but camera was overwhelmingly people's favorite piece of equipment. I also like that camera because it has an external mic and will pick up like EVPs and that kind of thing. So, and then next is Spirit Box slash SDs. I kind of combined those together because it seemed that those answers were kind of combined. So, favorite technology. Bruce is up for a road trip too. Good. Sounds good, Bruce. Somebody got to make some sandwiches for us and pack our bags and let's do it. Um, so, anyways, let's see. We were saying our cameras for sure. Oh, Spirit Box and Estes Method. I combined those. So 7 people that was their favorite tech. And again, some people answered more than one answer. Some people answered only one. Camera, Spirit Box slash Estes. And then next would be the digital audio recorder that Christy said. And Trisha loves her audio recorder. I've heard great EVPs from both parties, from Christy and from Trisha. I've heard great EVPs from Bruce, great technician. So I've heard EVPs with Kerry. So yeah, I digital audio recorder. You know what? Make it 5 because I'd have to throw that in there as well. A good one, not so much mine. I need a better one. Anyways, so let's see what would be next. EMF detector comes in at 3 votes, being people's favorite. Here's a little digital audio recorder that I have. It's black, you can hardly see it. And then here is the EMF detector. And look at that, the green screen, you can see through it. So what do I want to say about the EMF detector? There were 2 schools of thought on that. The EMF detector came in at 3 people. This was their favorite technology. I used to really like the EMF detector a lot myself, but personally, I have to vote for it as maybe being personally one of my not so much favorites. Now, I always give this a rundown in my house because this detects electromagnetic energy, and I know where the wires meet my house. So this is a great way to like do a baseline in my house before I leave, so I know this works. But I also know that if you turn these on, my internet will make it spike. My cell phone not being on airplane mode will make it spike, meaning an incoming email, an incoming text, an incoming DM, a Facebook notification, something like that could make this go off. And so I mean, you'd really have to have really, really controlled circumstances for these to really work. But the other thing, they'll work when you get a response to it. But again, it's you just don't know with these. So that was almost split 50-50 with 3 people. It's their favorite, and 2 people said absolutely not to EMF. I'll talk more about things that people didn't like in a second. Second, motion detector things and cat balls. We all know cat. I hope I don't get censored for saying cat balls on the air, but we all know what these are, and they're motion detectors. So you're gonna put them someplace still, and it's probably the battery's dead on this. Oh, how do you like that? Anyways, motion will make it light up. Um, yeah, hit those emojis when I mention your favorite equipment. Thank you, Kerry. Um, so, anyways, this lights up, but it's a motion detector. Sorry about that one, guys. Um, but there's other motion detectors beside cat balls. Like I have a little light, and I know Dan's got a bright light. It works really well, like in a basement, like at the Emory Estate. You want to bring Dan's light with you in that basement at the Emory Estate. Not yeah, but at the Emory Estate for sure, and probably probably at Oliver House too. Um, but for sure that motion detector light. Um, but then the other thing is there were people who did not. We had 2 people who didn't like cat balls. For sure. Oh, hi Jeff, welcome. Ghost Quest Solo is has just joined the show, and Ghost Quest Solo, some of his answers are here. Jeff gave great answers. He always does. And we love investigating with Jeff. Um, let's see. So those were kind of the top ones. So camera overwhelmingly, and again, I combined cell phone camera with digital camera with video camera all into one answer, and that was 13 as cameras being the top. And like I said, for me, my night vision number one, numero uno, and with a good microphone because you can get good video and you can get good audio. Second was spirit boxes and SDs, and then in third place was digital audio recorder. Now, in the no thank yous, for like not least favorite technology, non-favorite technology, least favorite technology, phone apps. So I have a couple phone apps that I like. I have GhostTube. However, I also know I was investigating recently at the Emory Estate with some friends. Sue and Nathan, you were there. Carrie, I think you were there. Jeff, you were there. And I think that one of my Ghost Tube apps just got stuck on this cycle of saying like the same 3 or 4 or 5 words over and over and over again. And I just had to restart it. So there's that kind of unreliability. And also they can be manipulated. Not only do they have a dictionary, but you can add words to them too. So, but for myself, there's some phone apps that I do like. I have an SLS or XLS on a phone app, and I absolutely love it. And so it's a couple things like that. So, and people didn't like REM pods. Somebody did not like a laser grid. I think that was Paul and Cheryl Fiella. Paul especially did not like laser grid. He said he's never had any activity from a laser grid. And Dan, yeah, you were there. In the yeah, you were. Anyway, sorry. Lost my place there. Um, so it's hard for me to look at the comments and read. That's why thank you so much, Carrie, for helping moderate. And one person liked using a flashlight and another person didn't like using a flashlight. For me, the jury is still out. I had one really, really insane experience with a flashlight at the Twisted Vine restaurant in Derby, Connecticut that was very personal for me and made me a strong believer, if nothing else, not in all flashlight experiences, but in the flashlight experience that I had, because not only did the flashlight go on and off, it was a mag light. Sonia Babineau, she brings up that a mag light is one of her favorite things to use. Well, for me at the Twisted Vine restaurant, that mag light, not only did it light up in response to questions in front of a room full of people, but it also rolled on the table on command. It was just really bizarre, and it was a very controlled setting. I feel like there was no outside manipulation, and it was to like literally I could have picked up that flashlight with my left hand. It was like right next to me, so I know nobody was doing anything to it. So, and then somebody else that I know, I think it was Sue, did not like using a flashlight, and somebody didn't like using an XLS/SLS, and again, I said I really like using that. I think the jury is kind of still out on there. I think that an XLS camera, like so many other pieces of equipment, has the potential to really not be used correctly. You really have to understand how it works. Dan agrees. I know that's what you're talking about. And Chrissy, flashlights are great if they're calibrated correctly. That is a really big factor, I think. Yeah, I totally agree. Well, at the Oliver House not that long ago, during the Coke and a Smoke session in the dining room, Christy, that flashlight was responding to us, and we got that on film. That was incredible. That was very funny. But let's see, what else? Um, looking over at my technology. So REM pod, I don't have a traditional looking one, just because for the sake of space. And you've all heard me say I'm in tight quarters here in Lizzie Lou. So I have a small REM pod, but there was a school of thought out there that I noticed that either people didn't mind things that made noise or minded things that made noise. Like, all right, we don't mind light up things, but we do mind noisy things. And one of who was it? Boy, I wish I could remember who it was. Said that things that make a lot of noise kind of bring you out of the moment, and I kind of agree. I mean, listen to this. So this is a REM pod, and you would have to approach it and touch it, so it responds to supposedly unseen things, right? And yourself. So I'm going to turn it on, but it's excruciatingly loud. So get ready for it. I'm going to hold it away from the microphone because it's so loud. Oh, there you go, right? So you hear how loud that is. And I just have to shut it off because my husband's napping downstairs. Him and the dog. Don't want the dog barking. Don't want my husband barking. So again, there was a real school of thought on that amongst you all, and I completely understand that some people were for lights and some people were for kind of for noises, so it kind of split things up. And then we had somebody who their favorite product was an obelisk, and then somebody said absolutely not to an obelisk. Personally, I like an obelisk, brand name obelisk, because it holds that continual recording of what was said and when it was said. So a brand name obelisk. We talk about like spirit boxes. I'm using that as a generic term. There's many different ones out there, but there's an SB7, and we ended up with 3 people who said no to an SB7. And does anybody know why? I couldn't find mine, and that's because it's deep in the closet because I don't use it. And yeah, it does make you jump and scare you, Sybil, and it kind of wrecks the mood. Doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, you want to be scared, but not by a REM pod. But kind of wrecks the mood. But anyways, there were 3 votes for non-favorite technology for the SB7 Spirit Box. Like I said, mine is kind of hidden in the closet because I never use it. Here it is, a picture of one that I did find online. But they're really noisy. They sweep radio stations. There's a lot of interference. One of them, but with constant talking. And I think for somebody like me who's got ADHD, there's already so much noise going on in my head that I don't need that noise from that. Now, personally, I do like a Phasma box. However, I'm looking to my left here. Hang on, guys. I don't know how well you can see this, but it's an app on my computer, and I love it, and it works great, and it's kind of like a spirit box, but it doesn't have all that. It does echo a little bit, and that kind of drives me crazy. So I try to use a good speaker with it. But yeah, Dan, I'm gonna lay down some beats to those noises I was making. Um, But I found that the Phasma box has been wildly accurate, and some of you have been with me. Christy, you were with me when we got the name Rebecca Pratt, and then we handed that name over to my good friend Sue, who drilled it down to finding 3 Rebecca Pratts near the location of where we were, but one in particular, very, very close proximity to the Peter Oliver house, and possibly a teacher to some children that lived in that house a long, long time ago. So I find the Phasma box when it's spot on, it's spot on. Um, and it shouldn't be spot on all the time, or then I would think it was BS. So I like I said, I prefer that over the SB7 Spirit box just because it's a little quieter. Oh, hi Sue. I was just talking about you, Sue. Talking about how you researched Rebecca Pratt for us. Thank you very much. And Kerry previously possessed, she agrees the static is so much less on a Phasma box. But again, we've had some unbelievable responses to it. So the drawback to the Phasma box, and there's a drawback, um, is it can only be used on a laptop or a PC. It cannot be used on a mobile device. So, that being said, fortunately, in this day and age of laptops, my old laptop was 8 pounds. My new laptop is 2.5 pounds. So, I do have it on my laptop, and it's easy to carry and kind of tote around, easier than it was before my new laptop, which weighed 8 pounds. So, anyways, that's kind of the favorite tech versus the non favorite tech. Favorite tech being cameras, any different type. Least favorite tech being phone apps, SB7 Tide, then EMF, and then REM pods, um, laser grid. So interesting, very interesting. Sue and Nathan were the other married couple. I mentioned Cheryl and Paul Fiala answered. They answered separately. Sue sent in a questionnaire, and I kind of some of her questions I filled in, but like experience wise, I divided that because I want to talk about like how much experience everybody's got altogether. Um, so, anyways, let's see. So now we're on to favorite non-tech. Let me look over at my thing here, my table. I've got two non-tech items on my table here. So, favorite non-tech. There are three. There are three that are tied for first place for favorite non-tech. So, in no particular order of these three, they are tarot slash oracle cards. I have a tarot deck that I just absolutely love that was a gift from Previously Possessed. Thank you so much. I love them. And oracle cards, Juniper, who I know from Black Swan, Juniper, she uses oracle cards. So there were 3 votes for oracle cards for favorite non-tech. Mediumship slash intuition, or myself, kind of a thing for favorite non-tech. I loved that answer. That was one of mine. 3, pendulum, the kind that you dangle, I guess. um, and so those were, wait a minute. I said those 3 were tied. I beg your pardon. Oh, was I wrong? Reverse, back up. You guys, number 1 favorite non-tech. Hold your horses. 3 came in at second place with 3 answers. Number 1 was, wait for it, dowsing rods. 11 people, 11 out of 23 respondents said that dowsing rods were their favorite non-technology. Reverend Mark. Hi, Reverend Mark. Nice to see you. So 11. So personally myself, I want to say I love dowsing rods, but I'm not good at them. Sometimes I feel like I am, and sometimes I feel like I'm not. So it's definitely something I'm going to keep working at. So the 11 respondents said dowsing rods, and then there were 3 ties for second place: tarot and oracle card, mediumship slash intuition, or myself, and third, pendulum. And 2 were tied at 2: human pendulum and channeling. Human pendulum, I voted for that, and Kelly voted for that. Thank you, Kelly, for voting for that, because human pendulum is kind of my thing lately, and I like it very much. I feel like it's been very successful, and I feel good afterwards. It's interesting. So, dowsing rods, really overwhelmingly favorite non-technology items. I do not have dowsing rods here, but I got other things here. Tarot cards, all different kinds of tarot cards and oracle cards that people use. I've got one. Sybil's got bigger balls than I do. But I actually have a crystal ball. I have a small one, and look, I see myself upside down in it. You can see myself upside down in it too. That's really kind of weird. So, whoops. And didn't we know that exactly that was going to happen? That's why everything is within reach in Lizzie Lou Studio, because we know we're going to drop our crystal balls. Anyways, where were we? So that's a favorite. A crystal ball is one of Sybil's, and I really don't know how to work with it yet too much. And thank you. It has been fun watching the human pendulum, and I look forward to working on that a little bit more. But crystal ball being a favorite non-tech. Channeling. 2 people voted for channeling. I think that's interesting, and I think channeling and kind of human pendulum almost can go hand in hand. Channeling, as with anything when you're investigating the paranormal, you really have to be careful with channeling. You really have to be careful with channeling. and know what your boundaries are and not allow things to completely take you over and leave things where they are, So, we had a one vote for seance, one vote for table tipping being somebody's favorite non-tech, um, and one vote for a bell. So we've all had some fun experiences with bells, but only one person voted. Now, looking to see if I have anything else for show and tell. Nope, looks like that's it. And if you hear a funky horn, my neighbors are having a picnic and their grandkids are out there. So, least favorite non tech. Here we go. There were four for table tipping. I have to admit, I was one of them. So I found that interesting that there were four people that said no thanks to table tipping. Three people said no to Ouija boards for different reasons. Some people said no because they don't know how to use one, or said, I don't know how to use one. Literally said that. And some people because they think it's not good. I know Paul and Cheryl don't use Ouija boards. Um, and different people had really different reasons for not using them. It was interesting. Two people said no to dowsing rods, said they could too easily be manipulated. Two people said no to channeling. For one person because they said just don't buy it, and another person because they said that you've got to, for things I just said, you've got to be careful and you just got to say no, thank you to whatever spirits are there. You can't stay with me, and you gotta protect yourself. One person said no to tarot. I completely understand that. One person said no to seance. I love this one. This was from Anna. She said, no, no, thank you to asking for knocks. And I understood where she was coming from because you really don't know, is the house settling? Is something responding? And Anna also, I agree with Anna, was one of the ones who voted for like liking light things, but not things that made so much noise. Um, and I agree with Chrissy. You only use what you're comfortable with, and that's kind of why that we got this great sense of what people are interested in. There's certainly this is a no judgment zone. If table tipping is your thing, go for it. Because we had one person who said, "What a great experience." Actually, I know plenty of people who have had great experiences with it. Um, and tarot, that's split too. There's some people who are like, yeah, no, I just don't buy into tarot. So then you know what? Then don't do it. Whatever you're comfortable with. And Ouija board is really one of those hot button items that I think that there's very few kind of middle of the road opinions. People either use them or don't, and they have different reasons for not. So again, like Christy said, whatever you're comfortable with, and make sure that you protect yourself and that you set up your boundaries. Um, yeah, Sybil had an experience that wasn't so hot at table tipping. So, but then again, like I said, somebody I know had more than one person I know had great experiences. Um, and this your tools and process will choose you. That's really so important. Check out the different tools and find out what works with you and what works for you. um so all right. Oh, and also Kelly said for non technological, Kelly said instigative techniques, and I totally agree. You don't want to instigate. Now, I was interviewed the other night and somebody said, blah, blah, blah about provoking. And I said, well, let's look at the word provoking. You want to, you sometimes you do want to ask a provoking question, a thought provoking question. Provocation means different things. Now, instigative, that's the word Kelly used, and I really liked that Kelly used that word to narrow it down. Do I want to ask a provocative question, a question that's thoughtful? Yeah, something that's going to take a spirit, maybe some thought to answer. That'd be great. Yeah, but the way Kelly put it, I loved it. Don't want to ask instigative. Let's see. What does Alicia say? What does Allie say? Her answers were great. She gave us many, many answers here. People are afraid to use which, Allie? Are you talking about? We're talking about a few different things here. So let me know which tool you're talking about. So those, I just thought that was really interesting. Very different contrasts, and I just love the different contrasts. We heard so many different things from so many different people. Now, next we've got next was a fun question. How long have you been investigating? Let me move this crystal ball so I don't knock it down again. Okay. How long have you been investigating? So many of you have been investigating your whole life. I'm not going to say exact years for people because I don't want to throw anybody's age out there. Oh, hi Matt. Hey, how's it going? Um, Nice to see you. Glad you could join us. So Christy's been investigating 22 years. I see that comment right away. 25 years. My glasses are dirty. Christy's been investigating 25 years. Well, I've been doing it for about 2 years and a month. So 25 months. Um, Many of you have been doing it your whole life. Let me back up. Jeff's got a story to tell. Jeff, what are you telling us? Jeff was involved in a seance one time. Next day, he was extremely agitated for the first half of the day. Could have been a coincidence, but to be on the safe side, he never does it again. No rituals or Ouija boards for Jeff. Jeff, thank you so much for sharing that really personal story. So, again, it goes back to what Christy said, you go with what you're comfortable with. I gotta shut my window. Hang on. It's almost June and it's freezing out. Anyways, so yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Jeff. And Matt, since 2006, Bruce for 30 years, Trisha for 20 years. I'm a new kid on the block. Sue and Nathan, I think I come up with like 16 years for them, and Paul and Cheryl Fiella, 11 years. So combined between the two of them, they've got 22 years experience. This is basically what I came up with the people who responded, and then now I've got to add some people here. So Matt, 20 years, 45, adding Christie's time. We're coming in at about 300 years experience from the people who responded here, and now, like with the people who are piping in here, we're at like 36. So well over 300 years of paranormal investigating experience here, and I think that is so cool. So cool that the amount of experience that you guys all bring to the table and in different ways. Again, that's what I loved about this questionnaire. Different styles for different people. And so I know all of you, I've investigated with all of you, and I don't look at anybody and go, oh, that's so and so. I don't like their investigative style. No way. I love everybody's style because just as we're going to hear from somebody in a minute, that one of the things that they love is that they just love learning from other investigators. So anything that I like to do, I learned from somebody else. So I hope I can be kind and share the knowledge the way people have shared knowledge with me. Listen, Christy, great, just great sharer of knowledge, history, and experience. Matt, I want to. Matt Ryan is watching. Share of experience, not only paranormal investigating, but a lot of experience with like live streaming and that kind of thing. You just learn so much from people, and that's just kind of a part of this, learning a little bit from everybody and what works and what doesn't. Anyways, onward. So yeah, we come in at over 300 years experience with this group, and that is just amazing to me. Mm-mm. So now, furthest traveled. I love this question. Where is the furthest you have traveled for a paranormal investigation? Well, as I mentioned earlier, Elaine is actually in Scotland right now, and she responded. So she's our furthest respondent. Now, Elaine does live here in the greater Boston area, but she's currently in Scotland on a paranormal adventure. So I'd say that's pretty darn far. And Elaine is always traveling. She's always traveling, and I really admire that. Um, and so many of you have traveled all over the country. And thanks, Bruce. I'm gonna thank you, Bruce. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I feel like I've kind of like, yeah. bringing y'all together. I really appreciate that. And I just got to throw out there, Christy has been to Romania. That does not surprise me at all. So I think that puts Christy furthest out there, geographically speaking, the furthest traveling, little further out than England up there. And where I said Elaine is in Scotland, some of you have been. Was it Tina? Tina's been to Ireland to, was it Castle? Is that how you say it? And a couple other, Hellfire Club, Leap Castle. She went to Ireland with Mysterious Adventures. Good for you, Tina. That sounds like a great trip. And hey, next time we go to the 99, I want to hear all about that. Tina, just so much fun to investigate with, and such a nice girl. Kind of hanging out with her recently too. Um, Jeff has been to Texas, 2,000 miles. That's pretty far. For me, I've been to New Hampshire. Let's see, what else do we have? Sonia does a lot of traveling, and Sonia answered a lot of great answers. Sonia Babineau, she is the mother of the Haunted Raven. Um, but Sonia, ooh, Mark's been around the block. The Reverend Mark has been around the block. Central American, yes. Um, Mark, next time we get together, I want to hear more about that for sure. And Christy says, Ireland is amazing. And Christine, you are definitely, I mean, Tina, you are going to have to definitely tell us all about it. We can't wait to hear about it. So, let's see. And then I heard a funny story. I heard a funny story from Sonia. Like I said, she's been all over the country too. Sonia has deliberately traveled to many places kind of far away. She lives in central Massachusetts, but she said she unintentionally traveled, ended up in Key West to see Robert the Doll. I just thought that was a funny story. It wasn't like I went to Key West to see Robert the Doll. It was I went to Key West and incidentally saw Robert the Doll. So for Sonia, that was the furthest she ever traveled, but wasn't like a paranormal road trip. And I thought that was funny. Um, so this ought to be that would be really, really interesting, Mark. And I just find that interesting because I find any kind of native or indigenous history fascinating because it really does, where we live now in New England factors into that. Where you live in New England, Mark, factors into that. Where I live, and look at this. I'm bad. I'm nationwide. I am international. Elaine is watching from Scotland. Elaine, I hope you heard. I just brought your name up. Welcome, Elaine. Wow, I find that very, very exciting. Watching from Scotland. My grandmother was born in Glasgow. So if you do drive through Glasgow, just give a wave, give a shout out to the Borland family. Um, yeah, I'm going to put that back up. Thanks a lot for tuning in, Elaine. I really appreciate that. Taking time out of your very busy trip, no doubt, to tune in and say hello. Like I said, I hope I hope you heard me talking about you, saying all good things. And Sybil's been around in the United States to some different places. Um, Sue and Nathan, Minnesota, Four Paw Restaurant. So many different places. And again, I think Elaine is our furthest person tuning in. Trisha's asking Elaine, what I was going to ask the same question. What time is it in Scotland? We're at 11:52 here in the United States. I'm going to probably try to wrap things up in the next 8 minutes. You know me, about an hour does it. So yeah, Elaine, what time is it where you are? Let's see, what was Christy saying? Key West is a good trip. Oh, Robert is kind of almost hidden. Oh, that's kind of sad. That's kind of sad. And I love Key West. I love Key West. I went there once and didn't want to leave. So it's 4:53 p.m. in Scotland. So there are quite a few hours ahead of us. Dinner time. We're getting ready for lunch. We're getting ready for lunch. Elaine's getting ready for supper. So, Elaine, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you're tuning in and you're heading back here in a couple days. Well, I'm sure I will see you. I'm sure we'll see you soon somewhere. Elaine and I tend to run in the same circles as so many of all of you here. So, yeah, I just feel so lucky that where I live, I'm in driving distance of so many great places, Emery and Oliver and Lizzie Borden and so many other places. Um, Oh, there you go. Elaine, are you looking for the Loch Ness Monster? Let us know about that. That would be interesting. Even think of that while you're there looking at, looking at haunted castles and haunted Scotland. Are you looking for Loch Ness Monster? And then Trisha says, "Thank you so much for telling us what time it is, and again for taking the time out of your busy trip to interact with us." So, what's next? Next question: group or solo? Group or solo investigations? So, interesting answers on this one. Group or solo investigation? Well, we know that Ghost Quest Solo is watching Jeff, so we know how Jeff feels about that. But I also like to think that Jeff really, Elaine gave it the good old college try. But yeah, Jeff is Ghost Quest Solo, so Jeff definitely likes doing solo. Now, Christy's answer here is both. Group or solo, and that was an interesting mix that came back, and I really want to share with you like the reasons for stuff. I thought it was really cool. Let me adjust my mic. There we go. Thank you. There we go. So 20 people like a group. Trisha likes a group too. There you go. Different, bouncing different things off different people, work together to debunk, to agree. Let me put that back up. I tend to take things down too quickly. So group or so, 20 people said group, and of those 20 people, like 20 people said small group. It's hard to investigate with a large group. However, large groups can be fun, and you can go to like a celebrity event. Who doesn't love a Dustin Perry event, or a ghost tour kind of thing, so large groups can definitely be fun, especially if you start as a large group like an Adam Berry thing and you break into smaller groups. Those can be great, especially when you have enough room for it at some place like the Emory Estate, right? Um, and there's Ghost Quest Solo. Like I said, Jeff prefers solo, but I also, Jeff is a guy, but I consider Jeff a gal. You're a gal, Jeff. And Jeff does, I'm going to speak for Jeff. Jeff does enjoy a very small group of investigators. At times, it can enhance the experience. And what does the Reverend Mark like to say? Both. He likes to bring his very calm dog for outdoors. That would be the famous Dixie Lou, who is my dog by proxy. And she would help weed out natural occurrences from potential paranormal and protect from just about anything. Dixie Lou Who. Dixie is a Great Pyrenees. Mark, if you can post a picture of Dixie in comments, we would love it. Mark's going to post a picture of Dixie, please, if you can, in the comments, and watch what I say there. So where are we? So back to group or solo. So also, I didn't ask if other people like to investigate with their pets, and I watched Jeff on Mother's Day weekend talk about Jeff's pets. Jeff lives in a very active apartment, and his dogs Jeff's dogs can be very responsive to certain things. Anyways, Juniper from Black Swan Inn, I really liked her answer, and Juniper said, "I like going in solo first, then going in with a group for validation, verification, in the group experience." And I really liked that answer a lot. Um, so yeah, Great Pyrenees. Yeah, you can't. Oh, bummer, Mark. I'll have to share a picture of. So if any of you have ever seen the pictures that I share of the dog that I say is my number one fan watching the podcast, that's Dixie. I'll post some pictures later. Anyways, so so I should have asked that about pets. Sorry. So let's see, where was I? Jeff and his pets, and Brenda had an interesting answer. Brenda and Tanya and Kathy and Tim from Paranormal Girls and Tim. Brenda said always two for safety. And I liked that answer. I really liked that answer a lot. However, Sybil is one like so many, like to go in on your own first and get some impressions. But again, I really liked the way Brenda kind of phrased that. Oh, Elaine, like I said, we can't wait to hear all about your trip. So anyways, most people really liked investigating with a small group 8 people preferred solo, but even of those 8 people, a couple of them were like, well, like Juniper, well, all right, solo first, but then I want to go in with a small group. And I have investigated with Juniper, and we've had some great experiences at the Black Swan. Very, very enjoyable. Juniper is very, very intuitive and very talented. And if you are in New Hampshire, she's up. I think I'm not sure where you can reach her, but Juniper, if you're watching, put your socials here so people can get a reading from you. Anyways, so where do people want to go that they haven't been? Um, what topped the list was with Lizzie Bordenhouse. That topped the list. And interesting, Paul and Cheryl Fiella, who, like I said, fill out so many questions on these questionnaires. Um, Paul and Cheryl just found out that she's like a cousin twice removed or something from Lizzie Borden. So they've got a real personal connection. So they both voted for Lizzie Bordenhouse as someplace they'd like to be. But I'd also like to say that if you go to the Lizzie Borden house, be very careful who you book it with, because I've heard the good, the bad, and the ugly about investigating at the Lizzie Borden house. I can tell you that. So make sure you do your research on who's sponsoring and who, anytime you book an investigation, but just make sure you know who's doing it. So, and then in second, we had a lot of things that tied at 2. Oh, interesting, Christy. You've never been to Wilson Castle. That is definitely on my local bucket list too. That one we'll have to put on the RV road trip, because Wilson Castle, I don't think you can sleep over. So I think driving home at 3 in the morning or 5 in the morning or 7 in the morning after being up all night from Vermont, probably not a good idea. So that is on um the paranormal road trip. So, and yeah, Sybil is saying that I know exactly what she's talking about. Lizzie Borden house, so different now with different owners. So just saying, just make sure you know what you're purchasing anytime you make a purchase like that. Mark wants to go to Transylvania. Christy's been to Romania. Mark and Christy, well, I know both of you and I love both of you. And I think that you guys would really hit it off famously. Well, Christy, when we do a road trip to Connecticut, we'll definitely have to hit up Mark, the Reverend Mark, to be part of our crew. Anyways, let's see. So what tied it to? Interesting. There are prisons on the list. Bruce said he'll drive. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Bruce. So a lot of prisons on the list. 2, Brushy Mountain Prison in Tennessee. That's at the top of people's list. Alcatraz, also 2 people voted for that. And so Eastern State Penitentiary, 2 people voted for that. Moundsville Prison, 2 people voted for that. So a lot of people voted for prisons. And I know Sonia, I'm going to bring Sonia up again. Sonia's been to a few prisons, and Sonia's a great investigator. I love investigating with Sonia. And I really look forward to doing it again. So Sonia, if you're watching, let's get together and do something. When you're out in the middle of the state on the East Coast, we can meet up somewhere for sure. But and Alcatraz was on the top of Sonia's list, and also saying hello to Sonia because she really answered thoroughly every question. So grateful for the time she took. Everybody who answered everything. Oh, there you go, Sybil. So looks like we can book Wilson Castle. All right, well, let's put a small group together and sign me up. And let's see, and 2 private homes. 2 people voted for private homes. I like investigating private homes very, very much. And let's see, the Sally House, Villisca Axe Murder House, Mrs. Swift's and more. That's on the top of my list. I'm looking forward to that. And also, Paranormal Girls and Tim said any naval ship. So we know from our earlier list that the USS Salem was a favorite place. I know it's a favorite of Ghost Quest Solo. He loves that place. So, and of course, who doesn't? And as I always say, I can see the USS Salem from my front yard. So I really love that. So interesting. A lot of folks really want to go to prisons. And I would love to go to a prison as well. And 2 people voted for the Stanley. 1 person voted for the Shanley of someplace that they'd like to go, Waverly Hills Sanatorium. So many of these places we know and have heard of from TV and from other investigators. And as we're, Christy, you said it, girl. Paranormal lockup trip. Sign me up. Sign me up. Let's do it. I am in. Okay, so let's do it. And we've got so many places here that we want to go to. Geez, and Elaine is going on, and Trisha, you can come too. Oh my God. Um, and so now we start, those were kind of like the farm and function question. Favorite places, favorite tech, favorite non-tech. What do you like? What do you not like? It's like, it's like 20 questions. Is your favorite technology bigger than a bread box? Um, TBD, Bruce. TBD. So, and love the Salem. And Elaine says she'd love to go to the Stanley. So make that too. Oh well, Stanley. I think that's got to be you, Elaine, that voted for that. That's how that made this list, right? But yeah, now we're going to get to kind of the more ethereal questions. So again, those were kind of the form and function questions. And I again, so very very grateful for the time that everybody took to answer those questions because you put so much thought into them. Appreciate it. But I asked people, um, what do you hope to learn from paranormal investigating? And so many different answers, so enjoyable, so many different answers. So I'm going to go ahead and read some of them. And also, thank you everybody for commenting in the comments. Thank you, Kerry, for moderating and replying to everybody. Kerry's helping me out with that. I'm trying to acknowledge folks, but it's not always easy. By the way, let me just so Elaine says this. Elaine says, would love to go to the Stanley Hotel. And I said, oh, Elaine, you're probably the one on this list that said that they'd want to go to the Stanley Hotel. And then Tina says this. Tina's going to the Stanley in 2 weeks. Again, Tina, can't wait to meet you at the 99 and talk about these adventures. Investigating is fun, but we need to have like a 3-day retreat where all we do is talk about where we've been and what we've done and share our fun clips with everybody. Like retreat time during the day and investigating at night, 3 days somewhere. Yeah, right. First a road trip and then a paranormal retreat. I got a million ideas. Do I have time to implement everything? Well, that's something I'm working on. Anyways, but anyways, what did all of everybody say about what they hope to learn investigating? Um, People really wanted to communicate with loved ones. That was one of my reasons. I would like to hear from loved ones, like to have some answers to that. People want to hear about history. They want to hear stories. They want to retain stories. They want to look up the stories. They want to validate the stories. People want to know, why are spirits here? Why do some pass over? And why do some not? Some people answered that they're there to hopefully expel negative things. I like that answer. Some people answered that they're looking for proof of afterlife. One person said proof of paranormal, proof of afterlife, and proof of paranormal. Somebody else said they want to learn how to communicate with what's on the other side. Somebody else, and you have to know this is one. I'm sorry, I have to call out one of the guys. This was a science thing. One of the guys said science and the reasoning behind it all. Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. I think that was Brian Quinn. Um, what happens to our energy afterward? Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be what? I don't remember exactly how that goes. I'm a firm believer that we were energy before, we're energy now. So what happens to our energy after, when this vessel is done? I don't know. I'm seeking those answers myself. Somebody else, who was it now? I called them out earlier and I can't remember now who it was, said that, oh, it was Anna. Anna said that she just loves learning from other investigators. Anna was one of the ones who said she loves investigating with a small group of people. Yes, Anna, I agree. And thoroughly enjoy investigating with you, that's for sure. Hope to see you around. Um, and also, Anna said that she's so grateful to be able to see through the veil when allowed. And I really liked that answer, that her answer involved gratitude. I'm very thankful that I can see these things. Um, Christy's answer, she wants to hear their experiences, not what she's told. We get it wrong so often. That's what I mean. That's what we want to share. We want to get to the truth. We want to share the truth. We want the real history, not the history books, not the pretty. We want to know the truth. Um, and and again, I like what Anna said, to just, to be so grateful to learn from other investigators, to so grateful to learn from locations, so grateful to be able to see through that veil when allowed. And also, a couple of you brought up UFOs, cryptids. Joy, I thought this was really exciting. Joy said that she and Ron, her husband, um, who and Ron is no longer with us, and Joy, we're all so sorry for you for that. But Joy and Ron experienced two UFO sightings, and Joy, I can't wait to hear about that. Again, to talk about, we've got to set up a retreat where we all get together and talk about our different experiences. Because I would love to hear about your experience with Ron on that UFO sighting. Um, and also, Joy brought up communicating with pets, and I would have to agree with that. I've had some exciting experiences receiving communication from two of my pets, at least two of my pets that passed away, at least three, four, five. Now that I think about it, many experiences with many of my pets who passed away. So I really enjoyed those answers from everybody too, kind of outside the form and function. Those are a little more thoughtful questions. And what does keep everybody investigating? It's 12:10. I'm going to get ready to wrap things up, guys. I as a group, these were the same. Even if the wording was different, these answers were the same from everybody. We're all seeking answers. We want to. Some of us are contributing or continuing family traditions. Um, Katie, Stacy, her mom did Reiki and tarot. Sybil comes from a long line of intuitive people. Christy, I believe Christy comes from intuitive folks. Um, Carrie is agreeing with what Christy had said earlier, but Bruce wants to find the truth. I agree, Bruce. We're looking for the truth. Um, Paul Fiella said this, because it's why do I keep investigating? Because it's fun. I will have to admit that. I thoroughly enjoy this, and I love this group of people, because I'm looking at everybody in the comment section, and not only is everybody here that I'm talking to serious investigators with integrity, but each and every one of you has just the lightest and most deftest touch of sense of humor, and know how to apply it during tense situations. So that's really, really, really important. I just think that eh, that, like Paul said, it's a lot of fun. So I enjoy our laughs as well. We have so much fun together. A lot of laughs with Kerry, with Christy, Joy, and I text quite a bit and have a few chuckles. So I can't thank you all enough. Sue, we've had many, many laughs. Can't thank you all enough. Kelly says she loves learning and continuing to learn. Me too, Kelly. I love that answer. Erin said when she was a little girl, she read her father's copy of The Ghosts of Gettysburg when she was 10. And she's been obsessed ever since. So let's see what Christy's got to say. Keep going. You learn so much and impact, but be kind and respectful, and learn to believe always. Got to keep an open mind. You have to keep an open mind and be serious and have a good time, because having a good time, paranormal investigating is stressful. Tell me it's not. It's stressful. So you got to kind of have a good time to kind of break that up. Anyways, Carrie also said her previous experiences really keep her coming back and investigating more. So, geez, you guys, family tradition for the Reverend Mark. A long line of careless, fearless idiots. Grandparents were deep into spiritualism. Well, Mark, you're going to have to meet Christy, because Christy will show you the way, Reverend. You're the Reverend, but Christy will show you the way. On kind of how to be a little, not not fearless, but how to be a little more, I don't know, not fearsome, but a little more defined in what you do. So anyways, and Sybil wants to go to Gettysburg, and yes, Sue, so many laughs, but also, again, some serious paranormal investigating with you and Nathan. No doubt about it. No doubt. And many laughs. And the same thing that goes with Carrie and again, like I said, Christy and Bruce, because seeing is believing. And like Christy said, believe always. So I really, my parting words for everybody today are thank you, everybody, so much. Oh, and believing is seeing. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to do this questionnaire. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your answers. I appreciate the hour and 15 minutes that you spent listening to me ramble on about about your statistics and superlatives and all that kind of good stuff. So thankful, Paul and Cheryl, Sue and Nathan, Christy, Carrie, Sybil, let's see, Jeff, Shannon, Sonia, Elaine, Brian, Alicia, Juniper, Katie, anybody else that I didn't mention, Joy, 1,000 times over, Aaron, Anna, Caitlin, Carrie. Thank you, everybody. And also thank you to my cousin Michelle, who's not watching tonight because the Silibert family is having a thing. Everybody enjoy the very, very long weekend. I think maybe I don't know. I don't know. I got a 1 o'clock meeting with Kelly. So have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you all for watching. This was really, really a lot of fun. Um, and I'm gonna sign off. I'm so grateful to all of you for your time, for your experience, for your knowledge, for your humor, and many of you I'll be talking to very, very soon. So I am gonna sign off. And again, my gratitude to everybody. Thank you again. Take care. Bye bye.